The way we perceive color will vary widely from culture to culture. In Western culture, red can represent excitement, danger, passion, and Santa Claus. In China, red is used in celebrations because it is associated with luck and happiness. In India, orange represents divinity, but on the contrary in Egypt, it is the color of mourning. For you, the color blue may evoke associations of seas and oceans, but to a Catholic Colombian, it could mean the Virgin Mary. In addition to the perception of different meanings, according to each culture, colors also change within the same culture. For example, in the past in America, pink was the color for boys and blue was the color for girls. But this completely turned upside down around the 1940s. For each culture, colors can represent something with different meanings and emotions. But that doesn't mean a person likes a certain color will carry its own unique personality that belongs to that color. If someone tells you that your preference for the color red means you're a thrill seeker, or loving purple makes you look more weird than the majority, then that basically they are exaggerating the correlation between the associations between colors and entities over a certain narrow range. Color has an important influence on our attitudes and emotions. When our eyes touch a certain color, it will contact the hypothalamus, which will then send a series of signals to the pituitary gland, into the endocrine system, and then to the thyroid gland. Ultimately, the thyroid signals to secrete hormones that affect our mood, emotions, and behavior. Therefore, it is completely reasonable to conclude that color can affect our psychology, but to conclude a person's unique personality using color data analysis is not enough. Color is one of the main factors that can impact our emotions. Emotions are what influence our daily lives, including personal life, work environment, or other external circumstances. For individual decisions or contributions in a group, there is no shortage of situations that make us believe that every decision we make is based on reason and logic. However, no matter how much we try to hide or make excuses, emotions play a key role in those decisions. Emotions can be short-term, such as a brief moment of discomfort with our co-worker, or it can last longer, such as the persistent sadness that comes with ending a relationship. Emotions, according to naturalist Charles Darwin, are adaptations that help humans and animals survive and reproduce. When we are angry, we tend to seek out and confront the source of our anger. When we fall in love, we look for someone to mate with and reproduce. Human activities are under the control of a psychological mechanism consisting of 4 elements: feelings, imagination, love and hate reactions, recognition, and memory. Each element is a combination formed and continuously influenced by other elements. For example, when drinking a cup of tea, we feel the heat, aroma, and taste of the tea, which is due to an emotional reaction. We realize that this is tea, not any other drink. We can also recognize the flavor of what kind of tea it belongs to, which is due to our mind through recognition and memory. When we develop the idea of liking this type of tea, that is the intervention of the reaction of hatred. Then we had the idea of wanting to bring some of this tea home for our relatives and friends to enjoy. Then once again, we are subject to the interference of love and hate reactions on us. At that time, if our mind flashes the scene of sitting and sharing the taste of this special tea with close friends, that is what the activity of imagination creates. Although each element is important and cannot be separated from each other to function, but the love and hate reaction is where the ego's message is expressed. The seeds of love and hate lie deep in the storehouse of the mind. When this seed is affected by the external environment, through the senses, or by other seeds nearby, it will turn those seeds into an energy source that manifests on the surface of consciousness. But not all love and hate seeds carry heavy colors. Only temporary seeds of love and hate, without the intervention of reason, can be classified as emotions. Therefore, we can briefly define that emotions are temporary reactions to protect the interests of the ego. Life cannot lack emotions. But if emotions are exploited to the point of exceeding the control of reason, that is a state of self-loss of sovereignty. It causes us to make mistakes and suffer many consequences. After the emotions pass, in love, people often want their hearts to lead the way rather than using their minds to judge. This sounds really touching. It seems like we want to love with all of ourselves and not consider or think. But in reality, it is like a phenomenon obscured by fog, making it difficult to recognize that we are unable to control a need to satisfy our emotions. Because if we use reason to observe, it forces us to inhibit that satisfaction. That's why when we're bored with each other, we can't continue to live together out of gratitude. Even though forgiving and accepting each other is the best thing to do to solve the problem, we still can't do it. We couldn't overcome our need for emotional satisfaction, but we thought it was because our hearts had run out of capacity. Affliction is inherently a phenomenon, so emotions are also a phenomenon. They are born from the erroneous operation of psychological mechanisms. The main cause is due to the wrong perception of the ego. We cannot use our will to suppress this perception, to replace it with another perception. What we can do is to maintain the habit of observing all developments in our minds in all situations. Then we will see the unreality of those emotions. Because when those wishes and objections are no longer there, the afflictions and emotions will also disappear. Instead of choosing to run away or freeze emotions, through the practice of observing the mind, one day our mind will become clear and calm like a lake surface, with no more ripples. Emotions are important materials needed to create color and valuable flavor for life. Because humans are living entities, not inanimate wood and stone,